Hello, this is Jim Michaels with the Hickory Heights Church of Christ, and we want to thank you for viewing this video. We'd like to share with you a brief message from the Word of God. Over the past few years, have you heard someone predicting the end of time? And they may say, well, I know the end of time is very near or nigh, it's at hand, it's on the horizon, because of something that's said within the Bible itself. And usually they have reference to what's said in Matthew 24, verses 6, 7, and 8. Let me read that with you and share some thoughts about these verses. Jesus said, and you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that you are not troubled. He said, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So they say, well, look around us, and we see these things. We hear of wars and rumors of wars, and there are famines, and there are pestilence, and there are earthquakes. And so as a result of this, then we know the end is near. It's nigh. It's at hand. But is that really what he's talking about in this particular verse? Well, I don't believe that he's talking about the end of time here, or the second coming of the Lord. Now, the reason I don't believe that that's the case is because of something that's said within the text itself. If you would, drop down with me to verses 34, and notice something that Jesus says there. He said, assuredly I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. Now, all these things that he mentions here in verses 34 are all the things that he mentioned in the previous verses. All of these things would happen and would occur before that generation passed away, or before the death of those people that he was writing to. So we know then that he's not talking about his second coming, because that generation has passed. And those things that he mentioned in verses 6, 7, and 8, that they took place. And really what he had reference to in those verses was the destruction of the city of Jerusalem in 70 A.D., when Titus and his army surrounded the city and they destroyed the city. But now I want you to notice something that's said, for instance, in verses 36, concerning his second coming. He said, but of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So now when it's talking about his second coming, he says, no one knows that day or hour. So if one tells you that they know when that time is, then simply point out verse 36 to them. And if they try to use verses 6 and 7 as a reference of things that's happening before the end of time, make them aware of the fact that he's talking about the destruction of the city of Jerusalem. But when he comes, his second coming, of that day and hour, no one knows. But now I want you to also look at verses 42. Because we don't know the time or the day or the hour, he said, watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. We don't know when he'll return. We don't know when he'll destroy the world. But what we have to do is to be prepared for that second coming. So give that some thought and some consideration. Thank you.